This is a 2-counter racing version of the famous Omega Speedmaster. The 2 subdial register is cleaner than the triple moonwatch style, and it feels really crisp and clear. There's applied black subdial rings that have a nice reflective sheen and contrast nicely with the powdery texture of the white dial for punchy legibility. And with a case size of 44.25mm, it wears pretty big and has huge presence on your arm. Other features include a racing style minute track and an optimally placed date window nestled neatly at 6 o'clock. The hour markers are pointed for less drag when racing, and there's orange accents on the second-hand tip and Speedmaster logo. And you of course get a tachymeter scale bezel infilled with white enamel on black ceramic. Inside is the coaxial master chronometer 9900, certified at the highest standard by METAS. And pre-owned, this model of the Speedmaster Racing goes for around £6,000. So in the early 60s and 70s, during the golden age of motorsports, mechanical chronographs like this were used to precisely time races. But these days they more embody the spirit and the passion and the go-fastness of motorsports. A racing watch is a finely tuned engine that you can wear on your wrist. And just like a nice car, you'll be devastated when it gets a big scratch on it. So most of the big luxury watch brands have an awesome racing watch in their catalogue, and we'll be looking at 9 more of them right now. So here we have a watch inheriting its design cues from a 60s sports watch. There'll be a lot of that on this list. This is a remix of the world's first, depending on who you talk to, automatic chronograph created by Seiko in 1969. You get that familiar Seiko case shape in 39mm with brushed and polished surfaces and with a boxy crystal and crisp black bezel featuring a tachymeter scale and a nice mixture of finishes. Meanwhile, the dial features a sand-blasted surface that's high contrast against the blackened hands and applied markers, and there's nice creamy loom accents too. You get a bit of added depth from the Go Faster floating subdials, and this piece is solar powered by the Caliber V192. And at £640, this offers premium racing chronograph good looks for a more affordable price. So when they slapped their logo on the side of a Ferrari back in 1971, Tag Heuer made history by becoming the first watch brand to sponsor a Formula 1 team. Pretty pioneering, now they all do it. And in addition to being the official timekeeper of Formula 1 from 1992 to 2003, and then again in 2025, which is happening right now today, Tag Heuer has always been a watchmaker synonymous with motorsport. And this is their latest Formula 1 watch, a model line which first appeared in 1986. That's the same year Chuck Norris Karate Commandos first aired on TV, side note. Anyway, this is the Formula 1 Solargraph. It retains a certain 80s charm with its robust chunky feel and a sporty casual wearability. In a 38mm case of sandblasted steel, you get an ergonomic shape and a grippable bidirectional bezel in biopolyamide. There are plenty of funky colourways to choose from in this model, but here we have the classic speed racing black and white, which is tastefully dope. So you get a white opaline dial, black lacquer applied numerals and circular markers, and a bright red second hand and minute track. Inside is the Caliber TH5000. That's a solar powered movement which is recharged by the sun or indeed any light. And regarding that, here's some numbers for you. 2 minutes exposure to sunlight is all that's needed to power the watch for 24 hours. 40 hours to fully charge the watch. 10 months is how long the charge lasts with no additional exposure to light. 10 seconds of light exposure is all that's needed to get the watch ticking again if it runs out of battery. And 15 years is the lifespan of the battery. Pretty cool. 1,500 is the amount of pounds that you will need to buy this watch pre-owned. Next we have Tudor's chronograph model, which blends a racing sports watch with a diver's watch. So you get the spirit of asphalt and sea salt, ready for aqua or the racing trackwa. Harking back to the 1970s Oyster Date, the brand's first chronograph, this watch features contrasting subcounters and a high-performance automatic manufacture caliber. So it's available in the traditional black and white panda style, OVS, but the Chrono Blue variation here in a rich deep navy blends sporty with a sophisticated look. But then if you want a bit more wowzer on your wrist, you can keep the summer going indefinitely with a hot Miami pink or flamingo blue dial. The case is satin brushed and polished with beveled lugs and a diameter of 41mm, and there's screwy down pusher guards and a fixed bezel in stainless steel with an anodized aluminium insert. You can pick up a Tudor Black Bay Chronograph Blue for around £4,000, but double that if you want the hot pink or flamingo blue versions. So, debuting in 1963 and named after a fast and furious road race in Mexico, the Carrera Panamericana, the Carrera released as a useful and stylish tool watch that quickly became an icon of motor racing. And so it remains. And some 60 years later, this latest model features the winning glass box design. That's a domed sapphire crystal with a seamless curve that flows over the internal tachymeter scale and around the edge of the dial. It's so smooth, it's like liquid butter, or like a pearly black Tide Pod for your wrist, except you can't eat it. There's prominent pump style pushers to operate the chronograph, which can be read from the silver subdials, and it comes in a 39mm stainless steel case, which is compact and ergonomically shaped. Speed, style and sophistication all in one. The Carrera Chronograph glass box costs around £4,000 pre-owned. Now, if you want a racing watch that has real credentials, then I present to you the IWC Pilot's Watch Chronograph 41 edition Mercedes-AMG PETRONAS Formula 1 Team watch. And as the name implies, this is the official team watch for the Mercedes-AMG PETRONAS Formula 1 team, and it can be seen worn trackside by said team members. So if you want to cosplay as an F1 racing strategist or a F1 mechanic from the wrist down, then this is the way to go probably. The case is crafted from lightweight titanium with a sandblasted finish and features black dials with PETRONAS green details. Though a pilot's watch at heart, it features the same level of engineering and technical excellence you'd expect from any of the finest racing watches, with the IWC manufacture 69385 caliber chronograph movement inside, with its power reserve of 120 hours and water resistance of 100 meters. This IWC costs around £6,500 pre-owned. This is the Zenith Chronomaster Sport. It has all the iconic racing chronograph style that you want and need. You get a panda style dial, pump style pushers, ceramic bezel with tachymeter scale, but with a bonus attractive tri-colour display with silver, grey and blue subdials. Although I suppose technically only one of those is a colour. But it's got red accents as well though, so that's popping. But the main event here is the El Primero movement inside, that takes central chronograph second-hand rotations to the next level. Boasting a higher beat rate of 36,000 VPH, the chronograph hand here completes one turn of the dial in just 10 seconds, which allows for your tachymeter race timing to be accurate to 1/10 of a second. Pretty cool. This watch is around £6,000 pre-owned. Next, we have the Tag Heuer Monaco. This is another watch that's been around since the late 60s. It's been a racing icon since being worn by Dreamy Films actor Steve McQueen, who wore the watch in the classic racing movie Les Mis. Is that right? Anyway, this particular version of the Monaco was released to coincide with the 80th Monaco Grand Prix in 2023, in 39mm diameter in the famous square case, but here in black DLC titanium with a sandblasted finish and a dial that is skeletonized, a first for the Monaco, that reveals parts of the TH2000 movement beneath. There's red lacquered hands and turquoise accents, a nod to the shining blue coasts of Monaco apparently. Also looks cool. So you get the turquoise opaline chronograph counters and indexes, and the movement also features turquoise decorations on the oscillating weight and column wheel. This is a modern cutting edge take on the classic Monaco, and pre-owned it costs around £7,000. This is the Chopard Mille Miglia, and this piece is a tribute to the open road endurance race across Italy, the Mille Miglia, which is Italian for 1,000 miglia, for which luxury Swiss brand Chopard has been official timekeeper and sponsor since 1988. with this watch that's designed to encapsulate the spirit of that historic race and just the Italian passion for motorsports generally as well. So it has a 38mm case in steel, which is round and shiny and feels a bit like the bezel of a speedometer from a classic Italian auto. Due also to the racing black dial with a trio of sub-counters and a finely printed tachymeter scale, so you get a display that really conveys the sense of a precise, finely tuned instrument, but that still feels refined. And despite the ton of information crammed onto the dial, it's still highly readable thanks to the big white numerals. And it also feels comfortable and stylish on the wrist. Pre-owned, this watch costs around £3,000. So finally, we have Rolex's iconic racing watch, the Chronograph Daytona, the most luxurious of racing watches. And out of the current Daytona catalogue, we have one of only 2 models that's available in steel and not precious metal. There is, however, 18 karat gold applied hour markers and hands on the dial, along with the famous triple registers with contrasting subdial rings, and the famous tachymeter scale bezel, which is a monoblock of Rolex's high-tech ceramic, Cerachrom, which is corrosion resistant, scratch proof, all that good stuff. And this is the new design from 2023 as well, so it features the edging around the bezel, in this case steel, which I was unsure of at first, but seeing it in person I think it looks sportier and it feels more complete somehow, so that's good, I might get one now. Inside also is the new and improved caliber 4131, which includes 2 patented mechanisms in the form of the Paraflex shock absorbers and the Chrono-G escapement. But unfortunately that's all hidden by the solid steel caseback because this is a serious tool watch after all. The modern Daytona is 40mm in diameter, and with the screw-down triplock crown it comes with 100 metres of water resistance. Now pre-owned, these buggers will cost you around £20,000. So there you go, that was my rundown of the best racing watches out there at the minute. And if you want to check out more amazing watches, then why not head over to watchfinder.com and find your next pre-owned luxury watch. Check it out and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.